about creativity, about restraining your creativity in order to better paintings. And what the heck does this mean? So I was listening to a podcast yesterday by Sean Cannell on Think Media about how to grow a YouTube channel and things like that. And he said something that really stuck with me. And he said, quote, creativity works best in constraints, and simplicity is power. Yeah, I fully agree. And I loved that he said that. He was not talking about artwork, which I don't have right now, but he was talking about um, developing your YouTube channel. And creativity needs restraints. Now, I have always talked about how creativity works through us, and I look at it on the chakra level, with the roadmap of the seven energy centers in the body. Now, I say that, and I have never been a woo-woo type person, but I am somewhat alternative. So I take this roadmap idea, these seven areas in my body, because they help me create and help me understand so many things about me, about who I am, and why I do or don't do the things that I need or don't need to do. So getting on this idea of the this creative structure, this roadmap. You look at creativity, and creativity, when it's fully free, is like out there. It's just way out there, and it's not something that we can grasp onto. If it is unlimited creativity, then you can't use it. What you need to do is to begin to bring it down and confine it. And the more you come down through these seven channels, these energetic channels, right? The first one up here is just becoming aware of something that you want to create. And then you limit it just a little bit more in this third eye area, where you begin to visualize and imagine, and you begin to put these restraints on it. And then you bring it down even more into the communication area, where you're putting sound waves, which is even more condensed and more restrained than way up here, right? So you're funneling the unlimited creativity into limits, more restrained and more restrained, as you work yourself down into picking up the paintbrush and actually painting that inspiration. So that's why I just loved this idea that creativity works best in constraints. It, in fact, only works in constraints. And the second part, simplicity is power. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. First of all, let's say you have this big, beautiful home, and or like my home, just a pretty small place. I'll go with mine because it is small and it's my own personal experience. My studio is tiny and right next to the bathroom. I mean, the door opens into the bathroom. So, I mean, it's not beautiful. It's not expansive with all this lush furniture in it to make it look great, to get me inspired and want to paint. Okay, so I have this little tiny place, which I don't particularly like visually as an area. I would much prefer one of those beautiful expanded studios. So you artists out there who have those, you are very, very lucky. But the point of being in my studio is pretty darn simple. It's to paint. That's it. To paint, to allow my creativity to flow through. That's it. So I'm in here and I can either focus on the more complicated stuff, like I haven't got the room, how am I going to fix it up, what am I going to do? Or I can come in here and just pick up my paintbrush, dip it in my paint, and start painting. So simplicity is powerful. It really is. Simplicity, keeping things simple. Henry David Thoreau, who I quote over and over and over, in fact, my entire life: simplify, 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 and it will get you far. Get rid of all those extra thoughts, especially the negative, self-limiting thoughts, and just go with it. If you haven't got a studio, use the table. Find a corner in your living room. Set up your painting place. If you haven't got an easel, use your knees. Stack up some books and place your canvas against the books and paint. You don't need anything. And on top of that, since we're on the subject of simplicity and creativity needing constraints, think about the limited palette. And it is a limited palette. It forces you to constrain yourself, to restrain from going out and buying tons of paint. It forces you to work with what you have, and you're pretty constrained with a limited palette. And that is the best part, because through the restraining, through the constraints, through the simplicity of what you have on your palette, you are able to break free of your preconceived ideas about what your painting should look like, what your greens should look like, what anything should be, and you work with what you have. So be calm, take a deep breath, let go of all of these extra thoughts, and be grateful for the limitations that are happening in your life. Take them, breathe into them, and find the expansion that can be found in this, little tiny space. Find it, because when you fill up that space, suddenly the borders expand. You may not have more colors. You may just be working with 3 colors and white. And that's fine. That's all you need. So very grateful for Mr. Sean Cannell yesterday for saying that. And he says some pretty good things. And, I like to ponder and think about stuff like that. Everything I am finding, everything that I do, everything that I want to do comes into this same pattern, the unlimited possibilities, and bringing it down, limiting, constraining, until I can come out with an actual painting. So, hey, sweetie, how are you? Good to see you again. Nice to have you on. So I'm